highly placed government contractor drinking martinis who could help him. Bird had known the second she saw coffee smoking by the mailbox outside that she would make her excuses, but for now she filled the slot that Paul expected. Supportive girlfriend, enjoying the party. "I think that guy over there is with the Washington Post," Paul said, and nudged Felice. "Weren't you saying the other day you were thinking about journalism?" Felice looked up from her phone and glanced over. "Isn't he the film critic or something? Honestly, you'd think Pam Robinson could get some better guests. I mean, Bob Woodward is a family friend. I haven't decided what direction I want for this summer, but if it's journalism, I'm sure my dad can just call Bob." "Bob Woodward, like from AP US History? Deep Throat?" Paul said. Felice smiled gently and combed her fingers through aggressively blunt cut bangs. "My dad is very well connected." "My dad knows Adrian Fenty," Charlotte said. She glanced at Bird as she said this, her look a soap bubble of pride that popped under Felice's dismissive shrug. "What's he, the old mayor of D.C.? I mean, great for your dad, but the local political scene is low rent." Paul jumped to Charlotte's rescue. "You really think that, after 8/16? That terrorist flu is practically a pandemic. Venezuela has oil money, a rogue government, and biological WMDs. They're a world threat. And the most important people in the world live here. Local politics are national politics." Bird stepped closer to Paul and squeezed his hand, though she felt a jolt of some repelling force she didn't want to name when he continued. "And that makes it a very good time for me to get in the game." Charlotte wound a braid around one finger and said nothing. Behind her, Trevor Robinson stood beneath an early period Warhol that had probably cost 6 figures. He was speaking with Cindy de la Vega and an older white man who was gesturing, for some reason, at the ceiling. The Robinsons' dining room and foyer swarmed with people, mostly adults, with a few young hopefuls like Paul, Bird, Felice, and Charlotte. "Forget the stupid flu. The guy that Trevor's talking to is the head of Cornell admissions." Bird jumped to hear Gina's voice behind her. Gina was a friend of Felice's, the daughter of someone very rich whose profession seemed to consist of spending money. Most recent purchases included an exact replica of the Christopher Nolan Batmobile and a third chateau in the Loire Valley. Somehow, the transitive properties of friendship never seemed to extend to Bird and Charlotte, whom Gina alternately tolerated and ignored. "I didn't know you wanted to go to Cornell, Gina," Paul said. "Well, I want to go to Harvard, but Miss Byrne says that it's a real reach for me after that shit show in geography last semester. So right now, as far as my dad's concerned, any Ivy will do." "But still, I mean, Cornell, you can definitely do better," Felice said. Bird usually stayed out of Gina's money-scented orbit, but she couldn't let this go. "I don't think Cornell is really—" Paul twisted her hand just as Gina pivoted and smiled. "I know you'd be really glad to get in there. Actually, I want to go to Stanford, but some of us have parents who hold us to very high standards. And anyway, we all know that you guys are lucky. You've got like a free pass to any Ivy you want. The other day, I heard that even Morella, who hasn't done an extracurricular that didn't involve fucking the freshman girls since sophomore year, is applying to Princeton. Like, my dad actually told me I should check the Latino box on my apps, because my great-grandmother came from Puerto Rico. I mean, she was white, but still Puerto Rico. But I decided that it wouldn't be right to get in on anything but my own merit." "Gina," Felice said after a silence filled by a John Coltrane trumpet solo and Pam Robinson's laugh, "I think everyone is getting in on their own merit." Paul and Charlotte looked at once, exhausted and uncomfortable, precisely how Bird felt. They had all heard this shit with different tunes since sophomore year. Still, usually Felice managed to avoid it when Bird or Charlotte were around. "Sure," Gina said, smiling at them. "Of course you guys are. You're so smart and talented and like pillars of the school. But come on, Morella's another story. If she was white, she'd be off to UDC.